Hi everyone, it's me, Deborah J. I'm here to do a video on Chiron, the wounded healer in astrology. And why do you need to know this? Because Chiron is a wounded healer and it is in our birth chart. Every single one of us has Chiron in our birth chart. And essentially where Chiron is, it's where we have our own unique individual sensitivity to specific things in our life. So where we have Chiron in the chart in terms of the house, and as in the house being the area of life that we experience it in, and then where we also have Chiron in terms of the sign, so the type of energy that's in and around that, how it happens, and then also any aspects from other planets that may be to Chiron as well. It's completely, totally unique to us. Chiron by itself moves very, very slowly through the signs. So we are likely to have the same Chiron in the same sign as those that we went to school with and we're in the same class with and who are around the same age as. So people who are kind of close to us in terms of our age, you'll all have Chiron in the same sign, and therefore you'll have the same kind of type of flavor, but it won't be exactly the same. And the reason I say that is because it depends on what house it's in. So it depends. So you could have a friend who has Chiron and Aries in the 7th house of relationships, and relationships are an area that are something that they have yet to master in. They've got a lot of wounding in. You might have Chiron and Aries as well, but you might have it in the 10th house. So for you, you might struggle in terms of being seen in the world, how you're in terms of authority and how you deal with authority. It could be to do with how you your career and all that kind of side of things. So it depends on which house it's in as to the experience and how it's expressed in what area of your life. And then in terms of the sign, we'll all have different signs. I've got Chiron in Gemini. Other people can have it in Aries and Pisces and Scorpio and Taurus, whatever it is. So everybody's got their own specific Chiron placement. And the reason I feel that it's really important for people to know this is because I have clients who come to me all the time for my soul navigation coaching and for my astrology. And what I notice is there's an area of life that they feel that they keep meeting resistance in. It's something that kind of keeps happening over and over and over again. And they don't, it's very hard for them to see. It's a bit of a blind spot to some extent until you become consciously aware of it, which knowing by astrology where it is in your chart, you can raise your consciousness and connect in with it. But without that, it can be a bit of a blind spot. And it's essentially, as I said, where we have our wounding too, the area in life that we seem to be able to help other people in abundancy in that area, but we're not very good at doing it for ourselves. So, and we feel kind of wounded by the fact that we can help other people and we can't help ourselves in that specific area. And the beauty about Chiron is it's the area that we feel challenging. We have to learn the dynamics of it and how to interpret it and how to navigate it. And when you do, it becomes your superpower, and it really does become something that you can turn your mess into your message and really focus in on helping other people with that. It's a healing, it's actually the sign of a healer. So depending on the aspects that you have to it, you may be a natural healer with Chiron. A lot of therapists and counselors and psychologists and all that kind of deep work area where we're able to help other people and maybe not able to help ourselves so well is quite often chironic as well. So what I wanted to show you here today, if you have not looked at your astrological birth chart, head on over to my website, deborahjkelly.com, put in your birth time, location, and your details, and it will bring up your chart. And then what you want to do is, you're going to see a chart that will be similar, not exactly the same as this, but you're going to be looking for Chiron, which is the little key. See this guy here? So this person here has Chiron, the wounded healer, in the sign of Aries. So when we have Chiron in Aries, Aries is all about instinctual drive, our instinctual natures, our intuitive rhythms, our intuitive cycles. It's our impulses. And quite often when we have Chiron in Aries, at a young age or in past lives, whichever resonates more with you, but quite often we can see this in childhood very early on. It can be to do with your natural rhythms were stifled in some way, shape or form. Now, the reason I love this specific one to kind of pick out and show you is because and I kind of come back from sharing. So it's that little key that you want to look out for in your chart to see what house it's in and to see what sign it's in. But Chiron in Aries, just picking one as an example, Chiron can be in all the signs. And if you want to know more about where your Chiron is, you can always book a session with me. But Chiron in Aries, where that instinctual impulse to do something is kind of like stifled, and even down to competition and challenges and being part of competition or challenges, it can be really, really daunting. A healthy, fully functional Aries is like, yeah, give me some challenge, they'll even like create challenge and create drama. They love a little bit of that, and they love to be competitive with other people. They're very forward moving, they're very outgoing, they go after what they want. There's a lot of will and drive behind it. And when you have Chiron in that area, that impulse has been squashed to some extent. And even in, it can be down to simply, your parents had a strict potty training regime when you were a kid, or perhaps you weren't able to, you're told to eat all your dinner, you're not getting anything till later on, and maybe you weren't hungry, and you couldn't eat when you were hungry, and you had to eat when you weren't hungry, and those natural rhythms were stifled. Or it could have been like you were told to sit down, shut up, be seen and not heard. So as an Aries, a natural Aries expression is like, oh my God, look at this thing I've got, it's amazing. And then you're told to like, shut up and sit down, which really, really squashes that like creative or impulsive, instinctual drive. And so the reason I'm picking this one is because it's quite a big one in terms, they're all big in their own way, but this is quite a more obvious one. And we can, as adults, feel that, oh, well, our parents are the ones to blame because they're the ones who did the potty training and took the instinct out of me, or they're the ones who, with the food and with the telling to be quiet and whatever. And we can be all victim to that, or we can see that it's in your astrological birth chart, and one way or another, in whatever way, shape or form, you came here to experience that unique wound, completely unique to you. So what does that mean? It means that you can finally understand that one way, whether it was your parents or whoever it was going to be, if they weren't the ones to give you that experience of squashing your impulse and your kind of instinctual drive, somebody else was going to do it along the way. And maybe somebody else did do that along the way. And the reason I'm saying this is we can start to see, okay, it wasn't their fault. I actually came in to have that experience. So somebody had to give me that experience for me to know what it was like to have it. And why would that happen? Why would that terrible thing happen to me? My drive be taken away from me? Well, it's there because if you had that in abundance and it came really natural to you, and you look around at other people and it just comes naturally to them, and you're like, how does this come so naturally to them and it doesn't to me? If somebody was to ask them, how do I get in behind that? How do I increase my drive? How do I increase my instinctual awareness of my natural rhythms and cycles? How do I go after what I want? How do I, all these kind of Chiron and Aries, which is way too deep for me to go into here. But essentially, if you ask somebody who's born with that innate ability and skill, they're not going to have a clue how to teach you how to do it. The only way that we can teach others to how to do things is if we ourselves have had to do them. And so what I'm saying is the challenges that you experience in your lifetime are there as a means of you being able to pull them apart, figure out the dynamics and the lessons and the learning in behind them. How is it they function? And then when you've mastered that, because you've had to really push through it, when you stop resisting it and trying to fix it, because fixing is actively resisting and rejecting the one thing that you need to integrate, when you stop resisting it and understand that it's part of your experience in this lifetime, and it's part of your experience to learn how to integrate that energy and overcome it by accepting it and working with it, and therefore using that superpower to be able to help other people, now you're in the gold, now you're in the life lessons, and now you don't actually have to experience near as much of that Chironic energy as you had before. Because the only reason that we have these life experiences, the only reason they get thrown at us is for us to wake up to the lesson and the gold that's hidden in behind the meaning of those experiences. And so when the volume is turned right up and there's something, the best way of knowing what is your Chiron, think about things that really get in under your skin, that really, really bother you and really, really trigger you. And they could be really simple and small, and usually they are, but they look bigger. When the volume gets turned up on that, the universe is literally going, hello, can you hear me? And so if you're not listening, the volume goes up, 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 and the experiences of this get huge. They get really, really huge until you listen, or until you have to listen. It forces you to listen. So rather than waiting for the volume to get turned right up and have to listen, be forced into listening, what you want to do is you want to see it in your birth chart, what house it is, what sign it is, get an astrological reading, figure out how it is that you're meant to work with it, and then start to turn it into your superpower and not be disempowered by that. So this is just one teeny example. Like everybody is Chiron uniquely in their own chart, uniquely aspected. It's not something that you can just look up online and is this me, because there's actually so many different aspects to it as well. So if you want to know more about your Chiron, your unique wound, how to move past it, how to work with it and integrate it into your life so that it becomes your superpower and you're not disempowered by it, drop me an email and book a session. Let's do an astrology session. I do 1 and 2 hour sessions with you, or ask me any questions that you have. I'm all over social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook as Deborah J. Kelly, Soul Navigation. You'll be able to type in Soul Navigation and find me, Deborah J. Kelly, as well. And drop me an email, deborahjsoulnavigation@gmail.com, or go to deborahjkelly.com, and you'll be able to read tons more about how you can work with me there. But if you're looking to move past this, it's a hard one, because usually there's kind of blinkers on with it, and it's one of those sensitive points that we've had it for so long that it's not something that we can always easily recognize and see in ourselves. But I promise you, as soon as you see it in your astrology, you're going to be like, oh my God, yeah, that's totally me. And what you want is somebody who's going to be blunt and honest and tell you how to work with it. There's no like, oh no, we're going to do these lovely, light, fluffy feather things. No, we're going to figure out how you need to work with it, turn it into your superpower, and make sure that it's something that's empowering your life and something that you can help other people with. Because with Chiron, really what that wound is about is it's not about claiming it for yourself. It's actually your gift for other people, because you're going to be able to help other people who can't help themselves in that specific area. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has, do let me know if you want more videos around this kind of these kind of topics, more astrology, Reiki, reflexology, life path coaching, soul navigation. Drop me a message, let me know, and I'd love to answer any questions you have. And talk to you soon. Bye.